Wouldn't it be amazing if your students all practiced everything they were supposed to, exactly the way they were supposed to, each and every week? Well, today I'm going to tell you about an app that won't do that. I'm going to be honest with you, that is called a magic spell and it doesn't exist. But I am going to talk to you about an app called Tonara that I've been using in my studio for about the past year and a half now. I've been a piano teacher for a long time and I was pretty happy with my assignment sheet system. However, I have been using Tonara for a little while now, and I'm going to tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, so that you can make an informed decision that works for your studio. And you should stick around to the very end of this video so that you can hear the number one reason that I think you should not use this app. Alright, let's start with the basics. So Tonara has a space for where your students are and their information, and that's where you set up their logins. You've also got the calendar area where you see the upcoming lessons, and then you've got repertoire where you store your actual different assignments that you can reuse and reuse with lots of students, and you have the leaderboard which will show students against each other in terms of how they are practicing. You can look up other tutorials on the basics of using Tonara. What I want to tell you about here is why I love it and why I don't. So let's start with the good stuff. Why do I love it? One of the things I love about Tonara is being able to include audio and video right there within the assignment. Obviously, when you've got a paper assignment sheet, you need another digital resource or a CD or something if you're going to have students listen to something or watch a video. I love that my assignments actually include these details now. That is probably the number one reason I decided to switch over, because I wanted to make it easier for parents and students to access those resources, to use them in their practice, and it has 100% done that. I also love that these assignments can be set up ahead of time and used across their whole school if you have multiple teachers. Now, it's pretty time consuming to set that up. Tonara does have some pre-populated assignments already built in, but if you want to do your own in your own style, which is what I did, I highly suggest you hire a virtual assistant. That's someone who doesn't live near you. They could, but they don't have to, and you pay to do a task like this. You can find out more about this process and how you hire a virtual assistant and why you would want to by watching this video, which will link right there, about Studio Admin. One of the fun bonuses inside Tonara is their Inspire Ed events. These are events that they started in December of 2020 and have started running more regularly, and I've been featured in 2 of them. Before we go any further, I should say I'm not affiliated to Tonara. I don't get a kickback for recording this video. I just wanted to share with you what I like about them. But I have worked with them in the past, and I was featured in 2 of their events as a speaker. So I love that they include these right there, that they make the events live really affordable for teachers, but then they also add this content on the back end so that you can watch it as a subscriber to Tonara at any time. One of the other things I love in terms of tracking students' actual practice is being able to see when they last logged in. I don't emphasize the leaderboard, you might notice in this video, so I'm not really focused on students' points and a lot of those features, which are a big hallmark of what Tonara does. That's not so much my style. What I do love to see is when they last logged in, because while I don't mind if they use the practice tracking or not, that really depends on the student and also their parent and the screen time concerns, I do want them to log into the app and read their assignments. I emphasize the fact that I want them to check the details so that I'm never accusing them of not having practiced, because that can just turn into a he said, she said, right? It can turn into this student says, I did practice, I just didn't look at the app, I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. I want to emphasize that they need to read the assignments every day before they practice. And so having that login time feature there is really useful, so I can see if a student just isn't checking. I also really like that students can message me directly. Before using Tonara, I could only talk to parents. And while that's great, and you do want to be careful about messaging young students directly, it is super that they can reach out to me. So I can have a 10-year-old who just checks with me, like, do we have a lesson this week? Or I'm not sure about this thing, or you attached the wrong track to that assignment, Nicola. And I can just check on it rather than them having to go get their parents to help with that. So that is a great feature. And I know many teachers are concerned that that will be overused, but I haven't found that to be the case. Messages are very few and far between, and they're normally just a quick check on some detail or another. And it's just a matter of me going and fixing something or clarifying something. Now, where I do use the messages a little bit more is in the group messages. You can set up specific groups of any mix of students you like, and one of the ways I use this is for listening lab, I call it. I post a track in there every week and ask my students to listen 3 times and then give me a 1-word description of the piece. This was part of my project to broaden my students' musical horizons, open them up to all different genres of music, and it's been really great. That 1-word reply makes sure that they do actually listen to it, and I do give them extra points for doing that just for fun. As I mentioned, as a school owner, you can have other teachers in your studio. It's great to have them all under the one account and have them all using the same system. And I love that I can have school repertoire. So I set all that stuff up for my teachers and they just need to hop in and assign it to students or edit it, whatever the case may be. Now on to some of the things that I don't love as much about Tonara or my wish list. The first one is a fiddly little one. I wish there's a way to see which assignments were carried over. And I know other teachers are on board with this, so Tonara might have already updated this by the time this video comes out. They are very good about adding new features, but I would love to see that there was like a little star or a check or something like that on the assignments which are from last week versus the new assignment, or maybe a star for the new assignments. I don't really care what it is. I would just like to be able to see at a glance which ones are continuing and which ones are new. I would also like to see more and more integration with the other teachers in the school. At present, I can set up their students' accounts, but I can't reset their passwords later without logging in as them. I can't check a lot of details in their students. My school is very tight-knit. I have a huge amount of oversight over what my teachers' students do and are assigned and the projects we have going on, and we're very integrated. It's not about control, but it is about me being that helping hand, right? That is part of what I do for my teachers. And so the more integration, the more I can access those various things and features, the better. Another little fiddly thing is the holidays, because they don't block lessons. So when you go and you set up a holiday, say you have Easter break or something in your studio, if you set that up and then you schedule lessons, they're still going to recur through that holiday. This works the opposite way in my music staff. If I set up the holiday in my music staff and I then add a lesson, it doesn't happen during that holiday. So that is something I would like to see fixed, because it's quite a nuisance to go through and delete all those events from the holiday. Not a big deal, and it is a one-off task, and again, you could get a VA or an assistant to do it, but ideally it would be blocked off. Now, as I said, Tonara updates features really regularly. They're very good about that. So this video might already be out of date. There's no way to know. What I recommend you do for features like this or other features you want to see added, go check out their Facebook group. They have a form right there for feature requests, and they're really good about staying up to date and answering questions there. So, should you get it? If you don't already have Tonara, should you go out and get it? Well, I'm going to start with that reason that you should not get it. And that is if you're trying to fix practice motivation. If your number one goal in getting Tonara, if the reason you're tempted to check it out is that your students aren't practicing, this is not going to fix that. Because remember, there's no easy solution for that. I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not an easy problem to solve. If you want to fix practice motivation, I will leave a link below with some further reading on troubleshooting why that practice motivation is lacking and how to really fix it in your studio. Another reason you should not get Tonara is if the reason you want it is the business side. For parent communication and business organization, I would actually recommend My Music Staff, and we have a separate video on that. If, however, you want something to organize your assignments, to better communicate with students, not parents, students, to have an app where they can easily access tracks and videos and just stay better organized with their own practice time, this is a great answer for you. If you have any questions about Tonara, please leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them for you or point you in the right direction. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to hit that thumbs up button.